everybody. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. It's Labor Day weekend in the States, so hope everybody in the States is enjoying it. And it's Happy Father's Day for Australia. So if we have any Aussies that are fathers, Happy Father's Day. Hope you had a good one. We're here to have an AMA with fearless leader Corgi. Very excited to hear what he has to say about a plethora of topics. And if you think of any questions during the AMA, put them in the chat channel. I know there's already a lot of them in there, and he may cover some of that before I get to that part. But either way, if you think of anything else, feel free to put it in there. And let's hear from Corgi.
Thanks. Just in case if you hear dog woofing or cat meowing, unfortunately, I cannot do anything with them, so we'll have to bear with that. Thanks for everyone joining on Sunday. It will be recorded, so if you want to listen to that later, I know some people are traveling or spending time with family and so on. I'm sure they can listen to his stuff later. There's tons of things I want to cover, so I'll try to be as condensed as it possible, and then I'll go over questions. And I think at the end we'll end with summary about the upcoming updates and some of the cool things we are working on. So that'll be great too. Can everyone hear me? Can you just do like a reactions and so on, if that's okay? No, if see people doing thumbs up. Perfect. Didn't try to speak on a Discord on a laptop yet, but apparently it's way better on my headphones. So sorry with that. So quickly, just like a bio short story. I'm not gonna get into much of the details, but now I'm 31. I worked previously mostly in sales. So after finishing engineering, I started in sales in Poland. After about 6 months, I moved to UK. I didn't really speak English, so I learned English in the UK while doing sales in English. So that was fun. You can probably imagine someone doing sales once they are, using a pitch cards and so on and trying to translate on a Google Translate. So that was definitely very challenging first year or so. But yeah, did okay. Moved to a management side around 3 offices in London, Maidstone, and Watford. It's mostly like let's say central UK. And when COVID hit, I moved into more of a remote work. So we did sales mostly in a call center and managed few larger teams running a call center. And then I was looking for more of a something else. I mean, I've been in sales for like 7 years, and I was looking for something where I can be more in control, but I am not in the office all the time. So I moved firstly to Poland. I left the UK with my partner, and we started working in recruitment. So I'm starting with just like a one office. Then after 5 or 6 months, we are managing offices in Ireland, in Northern England, in Central England, in America, and so on, and doing remote recruitment for multiple sales businesses across the world. So that was a great experience, but I was working for somebody else, and I got used to being my own boss. And so I was fortunate that, came across crypto just in the summer 21. I know some of you guys are way longer in that. Some of you guys went through some different bear markets and so on. But I'm freshly new. Started in summer 21, when was a huge boom for NFTs and pretty good trading environment too. So I got into that. Maybe with a couple thousand, I don't remember exactly, but literally maybe $2,000 or something like that. I started trading NFTs in crypto, and it went insane. In like a few months, I went from like 2 to like 25,000, and I was like, holy crap, that is insane. But I also learned very quickly that, I got a little bit humbled because that 25K became about 5,000K within a couple of weeks when things slowed down in around September, October time. And then I did probably the smartest thing I could do is sat down. I moved from Poland to Canada back then. That was end of 2022. Correct? 2021, sorry, end of 2021. Moved to Canada, and I spent pretty much entire November, just going through what I've learned, the trades, why I didn't take profits or why I did take profits, and start kind of going more from like analytical and mathematical side. I also went through every single account I was following as the early stages. You can imagine we followed some crazy accounts with completely bullshit info, like, Bitboy, or Crypto and so on. So that's how I started as well. So I spent literally a month going through filtering the accounts I followed, people who were accurate and inaccurate. I went through my trades, did like a little journal and so on. And then I, realized that maybe I'll just get back now, but with that experience and with all of that. So for a month, I literally took, I think, 0 trades, maybe like 2 combined. But I spent that time to educate myself, to analyze my mistakes and everything what I did. I always did that in sales. I always did that in recruitment, and I thought that it's gonna work in Web3 too. So by the end of 21, I went back in December. I got the job in as a moderator as well in one of the servers called Non-Fungible People. And then I fell in love with flipping. I had the chance to, receive few NFTs as a moderator and some whitelist spots. And I told myself that the first time I do 5x, I'll flip it. So I flipped all of these NFTs very quickly, made great money. And then, a few weeks later, they started going down. And I realized that, taking profits, it's, crucial part of, trading in crypto and Web3. And I started growing on me. So I got experience in that. I started doing that consistently. I got very early in Psychedelic Anonymous. Some of you guys heard about it. That was one of the largest holdings I had at that time. And, went only from minting them at very early to having, huge portfolio of like 30 something NFTs. And obviously, started going truly more, into like Web3, got a couple other moderator jobs and started, making very good money within a few months. Like from December to literally a February time, which was 3 months period, I went from a few $1,000s to over 6 figures. And then I got a little bit scared. I was like, what if I just, do exactly same mistakes again? And I started taking profits aggressively in February and March time. And I was taking profits, that's selling off everything what I had and cashing out on it. And in March time, I pretty much had no very little NFT and crypto holdings, and started reading about some of the accounts I was following for a few months. Saying that we start experiencing the all the negative things from COVID, and they're expecting recession and things will go down and so on. So I was very happy with my decision, and I started traveling. So I completely missed out on that entire crash between March and June. I mean, didn't fully miss out. I was still online, but I wasn't fully participating. I was just on and off with a small percentage of my funds online trading a little. And, I've been in like 4 or 5 countries between March and June, and got into more of a full time back in June, when was, June, July, when I was absolute panic. All of my friends I've made in Web3 and, accounts I was following, people were up, in panic. You all remember that what happened when we went from, 3.5, 4,000 Ethereum in Q1 to 900 or 800 it was in June and July. And you can obviously, whoever participated in that, what happened to NFTs, what happened to cryptos, and everything collapsed. And I was always sharing alpha. I was always sharing some information I had and so on early on. Started speaking with some of them, friends I've made more previously, and they suggested to let's do the server where we can all chat about the alpha and so on, and we can share the experience and help each other out. That's how the Corgi calls came around. That was we opened the last few days of June 22, started getting more people, and for 3 months, tons of people started talking out, volunteering. We started growing, and we went through every, meta possible. We went through, free NFTs meta, and, there was potatoes, there was the tons of other NFTs we launched for free at the time. We run the Bitcoin and Ethereum from those lows when we bought in July all over to like 25K when everyone was panicking and calling for 12K and so on. I literally cashed out 2 days before everything went down again 50%, 30%, which is pretty fortunate. The timing. I can't stop growing. People started joining. We went to, I think, like 14 or 1,500 people by October. And we also had a large team with 10 of us, 10 plus people working around the clock, doing calls and updates and whitelist spots and so on. We have to find a reason as well the way to, keep everyone on board, help them to get some money as well and keep delivering the value we're trying to deliver. So, we set up the subscription model starting from October, and, we are here where we are at the moment. Some of you guys joined, a year ago, some of you guys only a few months, and some of you guys maybe a few days. But that's how we started, in a shortcut, let's say. The mistakes I've made overall is mostly, not taking profits early on. And I never experienced that kind of volatility when I started, with 2000, went to 25,000 a couple of months and then back to 5,000 within a space of, 3 months, maybe combined. And I think that was a very good experience, but also very petrifying. And I was very close to like, fuck it, I'm taking 5K and I'm just leaving that for like a year and we'll let the things calm down and so on. Which is great that I didn't. But yeah, that was the main mistake I've made. And I also, felt attachments as we all felt to NFTs, to the community, to the like cryptocurrencies and so on. But I had a very strict rule set that, that's after percentage, I'm taking profit after, starting with one Ethereum and I got to free. I'm withdrawing that two and I'm getting back to one and I'm trading only with one. So I'm never risking the profit I've just made. And some of those little things I was just like, going through. That's, I guess helped me to cut my portfolio and grow it over time. So I'll go over that a little bit more in the details later on. One of the things I wanted to cover is working in Web3. I think a lot of people undermining that or don't even think about it. But in a bull market, a lot of people can get a job. Every server will need the moderators, community managers. They will need someone to be putting the whitelist spots, connecting them with the different projects, helping with the minting, developers. Like there's a lot of jobs. And currently excluding Bitcoin, I believe I'll check later. Don't quote me on numbers, but let's say we're on with a Bitcoin around 1 trillion market cap, and 1 trillion, and I think it's gonna go 3, 4, 5 times up in a bull market, and there's gonna be a lot of opportunities to fulfill. So if you are this time not only thinking about obviously investing, trading, and so on, but if you can think currently at creating your Web3 CV, getting some sort of experience, in moderating, getting some sort of connections in Web3, growing your Twitter account, I think this is the best time you can do that in the next 3 to 6 months. And obviously, I can create recommendations if you're interactive and helpful on our server, but you can do that in other servers too. And if you want to have some sort of, side income and job in a Web3, I think it's a great time to start now and get on it. Later on in bull markets, we might do that some way in a Corgi to help you out to get a job as well. That's one of the ideas. But I think it would be incredible if people started getting on it earlier on. I cannot tell you exactly what to do. You need to get your experience, ask around and so on. That's how I did it. But if you can get some sort of Web3 job, on top of what, you're earning from trading or investing, you're going to be in a very good situation in the next couple of years. Obviously, you can spare free time, but generally a lot of jobs you can do in Web3, you can, do 3-4 hours a day. So I think that's one of the things I wanted to cover. So it's definitely something to think about and start getting into. Uh, Next thing is rewarding yourself. I think a lot of people, I've noticed that now when we started, having some of the 4x, 5x, 10x trades and so on, people just hoping that that's going to be like a next step and it's going to be retired. This is going to retire them just from that one trade. I think it's a very slim chance that that will actually happen. So I think it's very important to reward yourself to actually see that money you are getting is real. It's a real number. You can actually use it to, take someone for dinner, to spend time with your family, to go for holidays, to buy yourself that car you always wanted, or, PlayStation or a new phone or whatever. I think it's very important to keep withdrawing your profits to the real, money, your bank account, and actually use some of it, because I've noticed as well myself that the we're losing like a connection with reality when you see like few Ethereum, and especially in the bull market, people seeing some crazy trades, 200K, 300K. I mean, someone a few days ago paid 500 Ethereum for a super mutant, like a one-on-one. And of course, he's a multi-millionaire and he can afford it. But in the bull market, we saw the trades on a daily basis, and then we're losing connection with reality. What kind of money is that? I mean, I've seen people within days losing the, net worth of, you can buy a house with it, of cars. And it's crazy later on when you think about it 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, and you've seen over and over again people posting, how Macy was 40 Ethereum or both apes were like 200 or whatever. And they live on, cannot believe that you are not regretting taking that profits. And realistically, if you really believe in that particle NFT project, and I was telling that, already like over a year and a half ago, I was talking about collapse of NFTs and, that's going to be a cleanse and only the strongest will survive and so on. But there's just so much Ponzi and, valuations were absolutely insane. And if you think about it, if you really believe in a project, what's wrong with taking profits and buying more of that particle project later on? I mean, I don't want to, point out exact, project or NFT, but realistically, we can find, any project you can point out from a, NFT bull market. And if you sell it in Q1, let's say 2022, you could buy a year later, probably 5, 6, 10 times more of NFTs for exactly same price, if that makes sense. And I want to make sure that, everyone understands that in the next bull market, when that happens, you remind yourself, you save it somewhere, you take those profits when you're seeing, again, celebrities, influencers buying NFTs, and it's going to be all over social media, etc., etc. Like, take those profits out, because, you can always buy back. And if things keep going up, you can always buy back. It's not a problem. But I think realizing profits is one of the biggest, not realizing profits is one of the biggest mistakes people do. And there's a huge difference between people who are sitting now on, a lot of stable coins, a lot of Ethereum, and they're ready to buy the dips, and the vast majority of people who are struggling and they're just trying to, make it, or still holding to some of these NFTs. So that's one of the things. The next thing is a risk management. So I've covered that over and over again in the channels. But I think it's very important to have a strict percentage, strict numbers you are holding yourself accountable to. I mean, same as I said recently, like, let's say you have a 100% portfolio that's like 100% value, and 90% of that value are dedicated, from 100% money I'm trying to invest, I'm investing into the long term. Okay, for example. So let's say I allocated $10,000. 90% of that money will be my gems, my long-term investment. So out of $10,000, 9,000 will be in the things dollar cost averaging over time, in things that I'm comfortable to buy now, buy in 2 months, buy in 3 months cheaper, and things I'm comfortable to hold for 12 months or longer. Sure, I might change my mind, I might rotate it as you saw me doing with some of the projects. I might to get heavier into one particle project and lighter into other one based on what I'm seeing. Because, let's say I did my due diligence, I did my research. I know as much as I can about the project, but the delivery could change and how they actually progressing with the roadmap and everything else. And I'm still monitoring things. So in that particular example, 90% will be in gems and the remaining 10% will be in my short-term or mid-term trading, like we did recently with Base, 0KN, OCD, and so on. So in that example, there will be only $1,000 out of 10,000. It's going to be me to short-term trading. And everyone have a different size. Some of you guys trading with 6 figures, some of you guys trading with 5 figures, some of them a little bit less. But the only reason why you'll be worried about the, volatility of recently based or whatever it was linked and so on is because it wasn't 10% or 15% of your account. It was a huge trade for you. That's the reason people stressed out, because you bought it for I don't know, let's say $500 and it went down 40%. No, it's not that big of an impact after it then previously, 1200%. Another thing I've noticed as well that I started posting gems in February. That's when we started with RLD, and there was tons of FUD. There was a lot of situations when it was on 1.5 cents, 2 cents, and so on. And most people were not interested in buying. I kept doing updates. I was, explaining that FUD was bullshit and so on. But I don't know exactly when did you guys buy, but I'm pretty confident that most of the people started buying, when they saw it raising to, 4 cents, 5, 6 cents, 6 cents, and so on. Not when it was, red and scary and it was at 1.5 or 2 cents. And that's happening with everything. We started posting about for Aztecs, some of the other projects early on. That was like, June, I believe. There was early June, some of these projects late May for 0xO. People didn't buy on that time, and I started getting more questions about that specific projects when they already did 300, 400%. And the reason why some of the people recently started stressing out because things, had the retrace is because they didn't buy original entries of first or second re-entry. They started buying that after few green candles, after it went up, 3, 4, 5, 600%, because that's when they had more confidence in that particular trade. And that's one of the huge mistakes people doing in the bear market is they're not being excited about things going down. They're excited about things going up. It's reverse psychology, but I hope we'll have a huge dip and we're going to go to 20 or 18,000 Bitcoin. I'll talk about it a little bit later, because you might have a chance to get some of those projects again in a similar entry. So maybe the first or second re-entry we had. I'll be posting about the updates later on, and I'll try to keep them, hand on the pulse about this, because I'm trying to buy, some of the things a little bit lower, and I still have tons of stable coins. But I think reverse psychology, it's crazy in trading and investing. That like, if you dollar cost average down, you are hoping that you can buy more things when they are red, not more when they are green. And, think about it yourself, how many times you actually waited because things look very bad and charts look horrible and you escaped by that particular project. So you wanted to enter when you see some green candles, when the things start going up, and that's when you bought, instead of buying that when it's, depressing and scary and red and everyone's flooding and so on. And that's what I'm hoping for, that we're gonna get that another chance. But You have to manage your risk. And I'm not gonna cover everything what I wrote hundreds of times. And I think Roma and me is we are going to work out on you know, updating an encyclopedia, and we're gonna add some of those things I posted recently to make sure that you have everything on a one click, and you can actually, manage your portfolio effectively. But I think that's something very important to realize, that in a bull market, what you want to do is to buy in the next 3, 5, 6 months when things are red, when they're going down, when they're looking horrible, and you have a well-researched project with strong fundamentals, and you do believe that it can go up in a bull market, because the valuations in bull markets gonna be they will be so much higher than we're seeing right now. And I know, let's say you buy a project now at 20 millions market cap, and then at 15, and maybe then at 10, and it looks scary because realistically it went down 80-90% from your original entry. But that 10 million market cap, or 15 or 20, it's nothing if you're expecting project to go to 250 or 500 million market cap. I mean, also Gala founders suing each other for embezzling $130 million. Gala went to some ridiculous valuation, I think 30 billion or whatever it was in a bull market, was insane. Look at the Gala chart, how it looked like in a bull market, or how it looks now. And there's tons of project in that, like ADA, before even they had the smart contracts, and everyone was crazy about ADA. But the people who made on the bull market before, they're not only traders. Only trading is a grind, and it's stressful, and you have to keep the hand on the pulse, and you have to, know a lot with trading. The most money you will make in a bull market is from investing early on. You buy projects when they are ridiculously cheap, ideally under 10 million, 15 million market cap. And if you can buy them very low, dollar cost average at the lows, when nobody's interested, when they are not on the centralized exchanges, when nobody talks about them, only few people who are on crypto Twitter, and then you wait 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and then you sell them. It's very hard to touch that, 1,000% trade or 2,000% trade. But in the last couple of months, how many projects we had doing 500, 1,000% or 15, 100% within a couple of weeks sometimes. I mean, we bought, 0KN, pre-sale was, after pre-sale launch at 500 or 600K market cap. And at the peak, it was 6.6 million. So that's, what's 1,300% trade, just for holding. I mean, I couldn't see anyone posting recently 1,300% trades on the centralized exchanges, because volatility is non-existent. So I think that's something everyone should, think about and analyze. And every portfolio is different. I mean, some of you might, look to invest $500, some of you 5,000, some of you 50,000. I have no idea. But the most money, and the easiest way to invest and make that money is to invest in a projects early on, buy them when nobody's interested, and hold them for a bull market. That's how the Cardano bulls, were made, because they bought it very early, or Dogecoin bulls, or Matic, and so on. And some of the projects people bought at the ridiculously low prices, and they just held it for 12 months or so. So that would be the main thing about investing journal. Second thing is have a journal or planner, somewhere where you're actually writing your thoughts. You're writing why you stressed out. I saw recently some people like, oh, we went down, maybe I'll just panic sell and buy it lower. So write them down. Like, I bought the project too high because I got excited about everyone on the Discord. And then when it went down 40%, I tried to sell it for a loss to buy it lower. And myself over and over again. And I was, writing my thoughts and thinking about how to change things afterwards. Because you're thinking when you see something going down 40, 50% is affected by emotions. And emotions are, the worst enemy of the trader. Because you overthink, you start looking at the slower time frames charts, you buy something with the perspective of buying that for 12 months or 18 months, but then you're opening your chart and you're looking at 1 hour or 4 hour chart. I mean, why? If you're looking to buy something for 12 months or 18 months, you should just use own daily or weekly chart and look for, dips to dollar cost average. But I don't think we should be using 1 hour, 4 hour, or even, 12-hour charts if I'm looking to invest for 12 months or longer. And other thing is people thinking about the unrealized profit and also unrealized loss. So let's say you bought something, a little bit higher than you wanted, but you put it only 30% of your money. So you're still looking to put, another 70% in that particular project. But because the dollar cost average down, they prefer to sell it for a loss and try to buy it lower. And this is very hard to time the bottom. So instead of doing that, if you allocate X amount of funds for that particular project, you should this dollar cost average down, make sure that your risk is managed, never, go all in crypto and so on. I'll speak about it in a second. And those dollar cost average down, unless something's changed in that particular project, unless your plan changed, not because of your emotions, but because, that project did something what you didn't want them to do, or, change the plan, structure, roadmap. Why would you exit your predetermined plans based on your emotions? Most people, as I said, I think the last week I talked about it, most people will be better off by buying things very low in the next 3 to 5 months, go offline for 12 months and come back to the bull market. And that goes for anyone. And I think that's one of the things is fucking people over is they overthink their investments on a daily basis. They don't have a predetermined plan and they trying to change it because we are online every day or every other day and you look at the chart and it doesn't go up only. I mean, every single project which did, ridiculous gains in the last bull market went through multiple 80, 90% corrections. Go open up, I don't know, randomly Matic, Cardano, BNB charts and zoom it in and look how it started from the EDOs, from the pre-sales, from, the first 10 months and so on. And look count how many times it corrected 60, 70, 90%. Everything is going in a straight line. Have something to go vertical to the upside, it's crazy. And eventually, buyers get exhausted for taking profits, and we're seeing that over again. I'm not surprised that people bought at 50 cents or $5 or $30 taking profit right now. Doesn't think anything about Unibot. I think it's an incredible project, and I think it will be for figures in a bull market. But I prefer to buy more at 50, 60, $70 if I can, and just wait for a bull market, rather than, buying that $200. I mean, we did the swing trade and I updated that I'm selling. There was literally $204. Because their valuations for people bought, 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago when, no, not really 5, a little bit less. They started, I think, in May. The profits were insane. So it was obvious that people will start take profits and eventually buyers will get exhausted when there's not enough volume. And you have to also understand that currently we have a, small fraction of the, volume and liquidity and participation we had in the bull market. I mean, I think we would have maybe less than 100,000 wallets trading or being active over the last few months. And there's millions in the bull market. It's going to be more in the next bull market, especially when the regulations come and overall, they might be painful at first, but they'll be very good for the space for long term. You'll have more and more people who never touched crypto before entering into a crypto NFT space on chain and so on. Also, I think due to those regulations, more people will trade on-chain will use the privacy tokens and projects like, Ator, 0x or MT and so on, they will be huge gainers in a bull market because people will need that privacy more than ever because everything will be more controlled than it was previously. And regulations are great, but some of the things are regulated not in exactly the manner they should be. That's another topic for discussion. Last couple of things. So trading, investing, we covered that. Also, have a plan and have a vision. It's very hard to get out of this, day-to-day cubicle of the short-term trading. We get used to, leverage trading and staking trading and so on the crypto side or NFT side, and we watch our things going up and down on a daily basis. And I think that's the difference between, investments and trading, that you're looking to get the best possible entry into the best possible projects before they go mainstream. So volume and liquidity will flow into the market. So sure, you might not have perfect answer. Some of the things you buy, you invest $1,000 and you will be underwater. You might buy some things and they will be 50, 60, 70% down. And it will be very scary to add to that investment because, dollar cost average, because, it doesn't look so good at that particular moment. And people love to panic and love to make decisions on, short-term basis and how they feel and how they think, how, what they see on crypto Twitter, what they see people, everyone having different bias every 24 hours. We have the two green candles in Bitcoin and everyone's saying, oh, we're going to 30, 40K. And then you have two red candles and everyone's like, oh, we don't couple was right and so on. I mean, we're going to do that over and over again on a daily basis. But if you have a good plan, you have good risk management and you have conviction, the easiest thing you can do at the moment is to pick up few projects that you believe that in the market they will thrive. You pick them up, you buy them for low, and then you hold them for 6, 12, 18 months, and you sell them when everyone talks about it, when everyone's calling for some ridiculous targets, like, Solana went to $200 something, and everyone was calling that for the next 1,000, 1,500, or that it will take over Ethereum and so on. That's the time you take profits. How many people bought Bitcoin? Never bought Bitcoin, but bought it at 60 or 65,000 valuation because everyone talked about it and everyone was convinced, like majority, not everyone specifically, that it's going to go to 100K. That was like, seems so close that, oh, we only had 65, 69K, 100K is the next target. I mean, it's crazy. Everyone's going to be a millionaire. And well, I guess that's the time when you're taking profits. So I think that's all from the things I wanted to cover specifically, but that I do have, I think I had like 10 plus questions. So I'll go over that. Sounds good. That's a lot. Quality of her voice is sounds robot. Can you guys hear me or thumbs up? No? Something wrong with audio? Can you actually hear me? Am I saying something but I cannot hear anything? Oh, 1 second. Hello? Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Okay, because some people said that the voice sounded slightly muffled. Yeah, it is. Okay, well, we tested before and you said it was great, so I cannot do anything. Okay, I'll buy a Mexico mic. So if people like pay and music one, I'll buy a mic. Okay, let me go over questions. So, go for it. I cannot tell you all my secrets because I would have to kill you, but I'm spending a lot of time online, following all the accounts I would say trust. I mean, accounts which or top or near top accounts which were very accurate over the last couple of years, and I'm watching which projects they are following, which projects they're interacting with, which projects they are responding to. I used to look more at YouTube, but now I just spending more time on Twitter. I'm on tons of Discord and speaking with people who I'm connected with, asking which projects they are looking into. Doing exactly same thing on Telegram. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't use Telegram 2 months ago, and Chrome was telling me to download it. Now I have, I think, 10 tabs like organized with probably hundreds of channels combined. I mean, on the various projects and various private conversations and so on. Um, uh, Speaking of people looking at the projects they're getting into, some of the people getting into private sales, some of them on EDOS, some of them already launched, and asking why did they get into that project, or doing my own research, finding all the information on the Twitter, sometimes just on the internet, sometimes they're on YouTube, and it's being released every week. I have few projects I'm looking into, planning them, checking what they like, what they don't like, and then putting price action charts, who is involved, who is backing them, and then I make a decision if that's a good investment or no.
Okay.
And some of the projects I might start very early, and some of them, will be already at 20, 30 million market cap, but I still think they have a lot of upside.
Okay, so how many hours?
Depends. Some days could be half an hour, some days could be 5 hours. There was a time in before Hawaii or just after I came back early August that I was spending at least 5-6 hours just scanning the charts and Twitter and so on. Now probably a bit less. I'm pretty confident in the things I picked up. Might change some. Might add 2, 3, or 4, but I think we have a very good list, and I don't want to overcomplicate it. Especially I don't think many people will invest in 20 or 25 projects. It's very hard to manage your risk unless you're gonna put $10 or $50 in each one of them. So I prefer to stick to let's say 10 or 15, and just manage my size and risk management between those.
Okay. Next question.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. A question from Tinder Master. How and when do you decide when to cut losses? Does the speed of decision making make a huge impact in your overall trading performance?
This is one question I see Bear asked about how I feel crypto and Web3 in general in the future. So I'll cover that first, because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about anyway. I think crypto and Web3 as a whole is going for a very healthy cleanse. We went through, hundreds of thousands of scams and Ponzi's and over again. And you guys think that now on Twitter, I literally posted about it, even yesterday, because I saw one of the founders looking for a job. And I mean, it is insane that some of the project raised in bull markets $10-15 million. They deliver very little, only small fraction of what they promised. Then they just disappeared, or playing victims now, or blaming everything else by themselves. And the main reason is because, firstly, they didn't use the funds properly. They didn't manage the risk. They thought everything will be going up consistently. They were not prepared for the bear market, because it's very hard when everything is green and looking credible to believe that at some point those things might go down 90-95%, which we just saw happening. And so many projects, didn't take profits when Ethereum was at 3,500, 4,000, and when revenue was flowing through the secondary market and so on. And we've seen all of those mistakes, and crazy to think that some of those groups running, alpha groups, they're running the still NFT projects, and people still holding, through that 90-95% drawdown, because if you build something at 10 Ethereum and it went down 90%, so let's say we had 1 Ethereum, that project have to go up, how much exactly? 1,000%, if I'm counting correctly. So you have to go 10x for you to be break even. And I'm not even counting discrepancy between, Solana or Ethereum, depends on, which blockchain you bought it on. So I think it will be very hard, and the vast majority of the projects, will never go even close to the all-time highs, or vast majority. Most things will recover partially, but they'll never go to the new all-time highs. And the biggest gains will be from things that were not popular during bull market, or they were even non-existent. So my thoughts now, I think we are heading into depression, and you see that on the timeline. I mean, this weekend was probably one of the quietest weekend on Twitter. I saw things like it was dead. And we're getting to that stage that is gonna get worse before it gets better. And some things on chain will flow. They have their own, on chain have kind of their own market and their own cycle and so on. I'll get into that later. But overall, I still think in the next 3-5 months, we still will get at least 1 or 2 hits closer to 20,000 Bitcoin, closer to 1,400 Ethereum, and there'll be great chance to buy some of the things lower. I'm not saying that everything will go down, because we've seen that situation that Bitcoin went down, but some of the on-chain things kept going up. But I think there's a lot of opportunities in the next 3-5 months if you have a touch and you're still waiting to enter. So I wouldn't just, crazy ape into stuff right now if you haven't bought the lows, in June, July, or May, or Q1. Sorry, but I will wait for the opportunities when you have another red day, when people panic, and you have a few particular projects you want to get into, that will be a good time to do so. Not a perfect time about it. Will we see 16,000 or 15,000 Bitcoin again? Maybe. I have no idea. It's right. I don't think we'll see 12K again. But will we dip under 20K? Maybe. Very short term. It is possible next 3-5 months. But I think anything lower than 24,000. So there's a huge support on like 22.5, 23,000. If we get to that, there'll be great opportunity to buy some, and I'll be definitely buying few altcoins. I'm looking on the Fed, Ocean, ENJ, and so on, and I'll definitely buy some. Sure, they can go lower, but I think it's a good place to start dollar cost averaging. Regardless if we're gonna end up, having a local bottom at 16,000 Bitcoin or 23,000. I think it will be rather shortly. And goes for on-chain. I mean, will we see Aqua again at 20 cents? I don't know. I don't think so. But can it dip again 30, 40%? Sure, I'll be very excited about it and might add to my position already, which I already have. So that's my general view in the future. And I think a lot of people are already expecting that bull market will start. This year. I don't think we will start in the bull market this year. We might go up again to 30 or 35,000 Bitcoin and go down again. I think the rest of the year will be very choppy, and we might have to, go down a few thousand or go up a few thousand. I don't really care, but I want to be prepared that if we have another red week or red day, and we go lower and there will be panic, I want to add some of the things I still didn't have enough position. I'm still planning to buy, and I think 24 will be incredible year. Maybe not straight away one.
There's a question about it here in chat.
Okay. So
and you would want to make answers a bit shorter so we can cover as more as we possibly can. Okay.
Sorry.
Sure. So Marilla asked about why are you so convinced that we will see a bull run in 24-25?
I was about to get to
that. That's why I asked.
I think firstly, everything has a cycle. Usually the market is about 2.5 years, and we have election year in 24, not only in the US, but in various huge countries. And during election time, they're always pumping the economy. Also, there's this cycle works that way, that when things things are going consistently down. They look, very depressing. There's a huge sell-off. We have mortgage rates going up. We have the people maxing out the credit cards. We see the, miss of recession in various countries already announced officially. I think Germany was recently, and Netherlands officially announcing that they enter recession. And there's going to be more and more over the next, let's say, 4 or 6 months. But things are always at that time. There are times of the biggest opportunity, and regardless if you take data from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, when there's talks of recession, when inflation is going up, there's always, time to invest, to start looking for the opportunities, because just after the depression, just after that panic, just before that deflation, when there's not enough liquidity and participants in the market, I think things are rising, because that's how economy works. In every country in the world, you cannot be ruling the government if everyone will be, losing money. You have a huge entities involved, you have the huge companies involved, and your economy cannot grow without that, money being pumped from those companies. So if the CEOs, the richest people in the world, and government just not making money, how you expecting that people, will vote for your policies? How you expect for people to, want to open companies? They want to, invest in, stocks, bonds, and so on. So there's a natural cycle, and I think 24, 25, based on, I've all the data, we will see bull market, and we'll see everything rising. Will we see the same valuations on the NFTs again? Pretty, I think some of the projects will do incredibly well. Some of the new projects will come around. There will be new meta, and we will see that. Same with goes for crypto. But I think it's gonna be something new, and we'll have to adapt to that, especially if we see the regulations and ETFs coming up. But I firmly believe that we will see bull market in 24, 25, and then cycle might end probably end of 25 or 26, and again we'll see something similar to what we just get right now.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, shortcut. And what was the name of the question? Just to cut your losses. I mean, it's hard to say exactly, because that's very depending on the project, the size, and is that my long-term investment, and something changed with my research fundamentals or principles, or we just talking about long-term, short-term trade. But I do prefer to not be attached to the dead wood. So if something, let's say I invested short-term, and I was expecting maybe 20, 30% drawdown, but it's going 40, 50%, and I don't like the development, I'll rather swallow that 50% loss than swallow 80 or 90%. So it's a very case-to-case basis, but I'm very aggressive in taking my cutting my losses, and it worked pretty well for me so far. And anti-bear market, sometimes I was too aggressive in taking profits. Now I'm heading into a point where I'm looking to invest, and I'm not looking for fleets. Most of my portfolio next 3-5 months will be, most of my trading will be buying things, adding to my positions in the next 3 to 6 months and holding it. That's my plan. And sure, I'll be trading. August was incredible for trading on chain, for example, but you want to be taking out those profits. So let's say you've seen Danny going from 4 Ethereum to 13 Ethereum. The great idea would be probably to take some of that money out and look into investing into long-term projects, or look into swapping that into stable coins, or taking some to a bank. So when you starting trading again in September, and it's your new month, you're starting that again with 4 Ethereum, not 13 or 14, if that makes sense. So you're not risking the money you just made. You're not risking the profits you just made. Your risk starts from that initial investment you had. And even if that was very bad, you still have that 8 or 9 Ethereum you've made from 10 Ethereum, made from the previous month. So you're not going to be negative, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's the answer to the question. I hope so, at least.
Yeah. Sent asked the question: do you think setting a stop loss is essential even for low cap games, less than 25 million cap, or better to let it ride due to massive volatility?
If I'm investing short and midterm on some of the things like Link, for example, I did put a stop loss because I didn't trust it, and I took a trade and I took a loss on it. But I prefer to take that 30% loss than, take 80-90% loss if things go sideways. So on a short or midterm trade, I'll definitely look on some of them, not all of them, to put the stop loss. For example, I don't really have a stop loss on 0KN, but I'm also in, riding that risk-free and in a huge profit. So even if what I have goes to zero, I'm still in profit. Does that make sense? I don't think it will go to zero. I think a lot of things will have to happen for that to go to zero. Firstly, if you, renounce contract, liquidity is locked, team tokens are locked, and all of these important things. It's very hard to just like dump the project if those things are locked and not in control of the team, so they cannot just run it from day-to-day basis. But on gems, no, I'm not really putting top plots. I'm on the charts usually every day. I'm checking what's going on. I might rotate or maybe decrease my size if I didn't like the development. As you see me rotating recently some of the coins, but no, I don't have a stop loss on any of them. Because I don't want to take the stop loss for, let's say, something goes 50% down, and then I'm still thinking that that's the project for 10x, 20x in a bull market. So when things go lower and I still looking to add to that project, I'll just dollar cost average rather than, take the stop loss.
Okay. So Jardak asks, I'm curious how heavy you are in crypto in terms of size. Are you in crypto with 100K, 500K, or even 1 million? Approximately, of course, or just some range? Seems to me you throw 2 to 5 ETH in every coin you're calling, meanwhile you have most in stables, in accumulated lows. That's a lot of cash.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but no, I don't have a millions. And I'm not throwing 2 to 5 Ethereum in every coin, definitely not. Like, I'm not joking when I said I'm doing 10% when I'm using a short and mid-time trades. So, for example, 0KN trade, I started with, I don't know, I think there was a couple Ethereum in a pre-sale, and I just added a little bit later, and right it to of north five figures. So I didn't just go all in on it. I mean, I didn't know how well it could do initially. I knew that I'm expecting, as I was doing on the write up early on, 3 to 5x early on, and I was hoping for it based on my research and everything what I did. But I had no idea it's gonna do 13x within 3 or 4 weeks, and I would just get more bullish on it over time, if that makes sense. So I didn't just go out with a 10 Ethereum of 0KN. I started with way less. But it went up, a lot. A lot of people made money on it too. So that would be crazy if I just throw 5 Ethereum on every project, especially if it's more risky and I'm pulling that as a short weekend trade. But yeah, 6 figures. That's the
Okay.
approximately, if you want some sort of range, yeah, that's 6 figures I'm investing, and I'm not mostly in stables, but I still have about over 50% in stables. So still waiting for some dips to buy, and then I still have some altcoins I want to buy, which I didn't. I only bought some ENJ. I'm still looking for Solana to go lower, for Fed, for Ocean. So I still have over 50% in stables.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Xant. How would you suggest to change strategy for a bigger portfolio? Or you continue to do the same with a lot more size?
Well, I'm doing the same. I just have a strict percentage. I'm not doing my 10%, even if I really like the project. I would rather, if I have a 10% allocated to my short mid-term trades, I would rather take profits from one of the project and invest in another one if I think it can give me bigger return than change my 10%, if that makes sense. I'm very strict with that, and it works pretty well because it's helped me to control my drawdown and control and have significant profits, but with a very limited downside if I manage like that. And some of the projects, I mean, 0KN, I'm still waiting, but for some of the more information, and they're speaking with, let's say, several wizards, and if they get on board, I'm moving 0KN to long term, and I'm not putting stop loss on it. I will be just adding if that dips. For example, so sure, I might move it from short to mid term and change my strategy ordinarily from short term to a long term for a specific coin, just because something very bullish happened, and another time I think have a more upside potential. But overall, I'm using exactly the same strategy, just for the bigger portfolio. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, thank you. And Bruce Lee asks, for the gems do you have a set amount of what you want maximum? For example, you want 10k of Ether and UDCA on dips. When you reach 10k of Ether, you're done. Don't touch it and wait for the bull. Do you have a separate budget to swing trade, right?
Yeah, I discovered about the swing trade. So yeah, that's the 10% I have. I have different allocation, one for on-chain and different for altcoins. So I'm looking only for probably 4 altcoins to buy. I think on-chain have a way higher upside. So that's going to be a separate budget, which I haven't touched yet, except buying some ENJ for now. And the separate will be for either chain. And for on-chain, that's the reason I did groups. 60% is going to group 1, 30% of my money is going to group 2, and 10% is going to the group 3. And obviously I have that, the remaining I'm trading on a daily basis. And yes, I'm counting percentage. So I'm looking how many coins out of group 1 I want to buy. Or group 2, how many coins I want to buy. I break it down and just see how much I have for my target. And some of the things I'll buy a little bit more. Some of the things I'll buy a little bit less, depends on my conviction or the entries I get. But once I'm happy with I'm setting myself aside. And if I'm happy with, where I am, I'll leave it as it is. So let's say if I decided to have 10,000 Hathor, $10,000 or 10,000 of, Hathor coins specifically, and I go to 7,000, I'm leaving that. I'm hoping still for a dip, but if I want credit and I see market recovering, I might just add the remaining 3K because that was my plan originally. But so far, I still have the coins, which, I bought some, and I'm hoping that they will dip lower. I mean, a lot of coins. I'm still hoping that they will dip lower and I can re-add to my entry, if that makes sense. Because some of them we bought and they went up only. So I just enter with 20 or 30% size I wanted. And if they go back to my entry or a little or even below that, I'll just buy more. But we don't want to chase the green candles, if that makes sense. And I saw a lot of people doing that, but they saw the project, didn't buy it early on. And then after it went 3, 4, 500%, they started buying. And that is very painful when it goes down 30, 40, 50% and people stressing out. But if you do as average, I'm not buying more than 25 to 35% maybe at first. And then if I get the chance for a coin to go lower, then I'll buy another 30 or 40% and so on, rather than adding that on when it's going up. I'm adding when it goes down. At worst case, I'll just have a smaller size than I wanted initially, but I bought if that makes sense.
Yep, I think it does. Prometheus asks, what are the indicators you're looking at? What are the projects have to offer to suggest a buy? How do you evaluate the bottoms and tops? For example, I thought Uni was easy buy between 90 and 120. Then I read dumped at almost top and 50-70-ish buy zone. Was a little irritated.
Sure. So that's previously asked about the staking, but I posted about already when I did the grade breakdown. So you can go to the staking up there. And Prometheus, sure. I mean, you have to be flexible. So I did post the initial entry when you looked on the very first post on Unibots. The initial entry was like the box is $70-$80. I think I posted that for the first time when it was like 86, something like that. And then it dipped again to 90s. That was another entry, and then it went up to then 150, then 220. And I think that was a peak. And when I see the huge selling pressure and I see how market behaves, I think $50-$70 is the reasonable entry, and that's the reason I posted about it. And sure, I bought some coins at $80-$90, and if it goes to 50-70, I will be underwater. I will be in negative from my long term. That's from my previous swing trade on a Unibot. But why would we be irritated, upset about it? If I want to buy things as low as it possible, and sell it not now, but in a year time. I mean, we should be excited about it. If you have a great project and you can buy it lower, that's the positive, not the negative. Again, reverse psychology. Instead of being upset that things can go 30-40% down that's your opportunity to buy, we should be excited about it because that's a way better entry you could have. And that's the reason we dollar cost average to the downside, not to the upside. And what indicators I look for? I'm looking for usually for a cluster of buys in those large wicks you see on train. So if you go on the daily chart and you see those very long wicks when there is a huge volume and spike when people are interested, and a lot of times you have that cluster of those wicks and buys. That's where I'm looking for my entries, because that's the interest zone. That's where people entering. That's when whales are buying. That's when people have a limit orders. It's a little bit more to that than just the magic boxes. And obviously, I went over hundreds of cards over last 6 to 8 months on train, and I guess I'm using a little bit of those and a little bit of that, and some of the data I have, and now I'm looking at the volume and so on as well. But it works pretty well, and as you see, reactions from the boxes are very good. But if I can have a chance, buy something lower, why wouldn't I? That's the reason I also posted lower box. So I don't want people to go all in at $90. If I think there's a chance we can still go lower and you can add there. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I've got a question from our group.
Sure.
So this question is, I'd love some more info about the current state of the group, subscribers and growth and potential plans for the future. Where do you want to see this group in, let's say, 2 years?
Okay, should I answer this, Corgi?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's an interesting question. So, I can definitely say what we will not do. We will not launch a scam collection or token to suck out liquidity of you and then slowly rug you, that's for sure. And leave you with some NFT that you can put in a hidden folder. That's not really why we're here. But in all seriousness, we have a lot of things planned ahead. We first want to finalize our vision of the Alpha Group. And we've building this for last year, and most of you know that we're constantly adding new utility. And we're not finished with that. So there's not a long way to go, but there's things we want to finalize before that. And I think we've built an incredible community of mature and interesting people here from all around the world. And our main goal is to prepare together before the bull, hopefully soon, so we can get maximum of what it will provide us. Like, that's the main goal. But if we're talking midterm, then I think you can all expect some cool changes very soon. I don't want to spoil anything, but there will be some first kind of discount token yield system. And basically by holding Corgi Pass for a certain amount of days, you will get a certain amount of points that you will be able to spend later on the marketplace. And then there's a reputation system we're developing when we can tip each other, we can bet on stuff, and basically maybe buy whitelist for these points for this passive field or something. There's a lot of uncover, and we don't. And as I said, I don't want to spoil anything. You will see everything soon, and we will have another spaces next week, hopefully. And if you're asking 2 years, long term, if you're talking long term, we have like a lot of plans on expanding education aspect of Corgi calls to be able to onboard as many Web2 people that will join and hopefully avoid most of the mistakes we did when we joined the space. And then we're gonna be having a job board here, so Corgis can like find Web3 job. And then there's consulting agency, but again, it's too early to talk about all of that. I think it will be unraveling as we go. And I think, yeah, that's it. Basically, Corgi Calls was built on honesty and amazing people. And that is probably why we're alive, while a lot of the groups, alpha groups and other groups that started at the same time as us, didn't make it and probably dead right now. So I think we will continue delivering to each and single one of you. That's probably it. Yeah.
Great.
Ali?
We have a few more questions, it seems.
Okay, I got one here from S Bud. Nansen AI is a software to be used to see when big whales accumulate, what tokens they accumulate, and when they dump. It is nice to use that software to follow smart money buyers to align our buys and sells. It's a bit pricey. Do you have any thoughts on it, and would you consider it for quarterly calls?
Yes, I haven't used it before, so sure, I can check it out and you can send me some information so I can look at it. But no, I haven't used about it, so I cannot pretend that I know and how that exactly works. I follow some wallets on the Debunk app and Arkham, but other than that, no, I did not use Nansen, so I'll have to check it out and then see if it's worth it.
Okay, there's another question from SBud. What is the reasoning behind shuffling the cryptos between group 1, 2, and 3? Are they not based on fundamentals and stability to sustain till the bull market, or is it purely based on current price action?
I think we covered a little bit before that, like when I have the, the research into a project, into the fundamentals and tokenomics and roadmap and what I can expect from it, I'm putting them in groups on purpose based on, upside potential, risk to reward, and so on. And I'm consistently observing them because we're talking about the low caps. We're talking about the things, some of them are 4 or 5 million market cap at the moment. I mean, they are tiny comparing to, how big they could be in a bull market. And I'm trying to find the perfect balance between the coin, in terms of price action, but also delivering of what they promise. And some of the things I just don't like over time, or maybe some things they delivering, they promise, let's say for August, but it's delayed till November, or there's not enough volume. A lot of people who were heavily into that project, and I thought it's a great pick. And I voted as well the exiting because, whatever reason happened, or maybe they changed the rights and so let's say it was taken over by different team. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. And if I'm looking to hold something for 12, 18 months, for example, I want to, now in the next 3 to 5 months when things are not going up only, I want to find like this perfect balance when I'm very comfortable in holding that particular token. It also depends on the size. So if I had something, let's say empty and 0xO situation, because we originally called 0xO at like, 20 cents, and it went to almost, 2 cents, I think so. I mean, the 003. And it went up to almost 10 and almost 10 cents. And we taken some profits and it went down back to like, 3 cents and back again to 8 and then down back to the pretty much the same entry we had. And there was a lot of negative stuff like I didn't personally like that, they staking, I mean, the profits generated for people were very tiny and the platform wasn't as good I was expecting and so on. And I was really taking some of that money to MTE and one other coin. I think it was PAL. At the point from the 0xO. But over the last, let's say, month or so, 0xO announced the privacy platform for future trading. They announced the Spectre wallet, and I saw way more smart money flowing into that. They have a huge backing, and I attended one of the AMAs, and I really liked what I was hearing. So I decided to enter back with the add to my previous position I had and put it back into group one, because I think with the previous doubts I had, they were cleared up, and I believe it's a great long-term hold, and you will do very well in a bull market. And then rotated that size with MT, because this is the privacy token. And I don't want to, hold everything in one specific meta. I want to juggle that in between. So my main privacy bet would be, for example, Ator and OXO, where previously was Ator and MT, if that makes sense. Hope that answer your questions.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions from Ghost. So they're kind of long, so maybe keep it a little brief.
Sure.
Number one, where in the DEX meta cycle do you think we are currently at? Do you think we are in a phase of cool off before another pump? B, is the entire meta reversing in general and we may enter a consolidation downtrend for a while? If B, do you think we may see another small exit pump before things move lower?
I think DEX meta cycle is completely different cycle to any other, and they're just moving down direction. And some of the coins already enter bull market, and you see that on the charts. So sure, they might have a 60, 70, 80% corrections, but they're already in the on bull market, and they'll go way higher. And it's just like the very early stage of the bull market for those on-chain coins. And some of them have lower volume. They're delivering. It's let's say spread in the next 6 to 8 months. So the most important platforms or products are not coming at the moment, or the user base is small yet, and it will grow over time, but you cannot see those results yet. There will be more in a consolidation or downtrend for a while. Like, for example, Demeter means a good project, and I really like the coin, but I think it's gonna enter long consolidation and downtrend, and it's already in it. And I think there are other coins which you can buy in similar price and have a very similar return of investment and bigger upside potential. So I think they have their own cycle, and some of the coins are already in bull market. Some of them are still in consolidation, and we'll see how it goes. But I would love to tell you exact answer, but nobody knows that exactly. That my answer would be that it's very depending on the coin, the product, the volume they're getting, and might have some reversal and some consolidation for a while on the coins, which is healthy, and some of them just continue going up with longitudinal corrections.
Okay. Based on that answer, would you say it is a better strategy right now to cut the losers now and re-enter at a later stage, or let them sit and or possibly add lower to rebalance on a bounce?
I covered that already, very extensively for the previous 20 minutes. But the only reason someone will have multiple losers is because they bought the green candles, not the red candles. So I don't really have a specific answer to that, because that's against everything what I was explaining previously. I mean, if they're feeling that you bought the local top, maybe exit for the small pump, and then actually have a structure and plan how to invest. Because we should really be buying things when they were red, not green in that particular example. But I still to have at least half of the portfolio in stable coins. I think we still have a chances to add lower down than many coins, or like percentage down. So if you both think a little bit higher than you were hoping for, your size shouldn't be, let's say, bigger than 20-30% of what you were planning to invest in that particular token. So instead of selling that for a loss, you can just dollar cost average and buy more when it's going down. So that's another thing, you can do.
Okay. I feel like his next two questions you kind of already talked about too. So I'm going to skip to number 5. OCD, what do you think is the best strategy for the launch? De-risk right away to ride the bags risk-free, considering the private sale price versus launch is at about 4.7 times, and provided the price doesn't dump too much at launch, or let the PA develop over the next week or so and make the decision then?
I'll write about it later, but to be honest, I think OCD will have a very similar playbook to 0KN and tons of other launches. That we'll see people taking profits early. We'll see the volatility. Things are going down, 40%, 30%, and will top around for could be a few days, could be a week. And it was exactly the same thing with 0KN. We had this conversation that so many people, went on the first 3-4 days, look at the chart. It's like, oh my days is 30% down. What are we going to do? And so on. I mean, even if it's short or mid-term trades, if you think you have a way higher upside, why would I fight against, early profit takers and getters and so on? If I know that I believe that it can go at least 3-4x from, the launch price. So to be honest, I'm not planning to tap it for the first probably 4 to 7 days whatsoever. From a private price, I might take some profits. But you have only 60% available, so 40% is vested. So I don't think it's unhealthy. Take some profits on from private. Maybe they will post finally that OTC deals, so you can get some of the deals off the book, not dumping on the chart. But I just think first 5 6 7 days. We'll see the consolidation and things are chopping up 30-40% and going down 40-50% and so on. And if you're a sniper and you can find the perfect button, sure, go for it. I just don't care about it. I did the same thing with 0KN, that when you went a little bit lower, I just bought a little bit more and then just held it. And biggest gains were 3-4 weeks later when, they started delivering, when the hype, was, they caught the hype, more people started entering and more people talked about it. And price started going up. I think first few days gonna be up and down, probably. Some people taking profits, some buying in, and so on. So that'll be my tactic. Probably ignore it for the first 5-7 days, and I don't want to comment even on 1 hour charts. But people will plan to post, and then I will look after first 5-7 days, and then justify. Unless there's some sort of huge drama, which I doubt it will be. I'm not touching that first 5-7 days, and then I will look to take profits higher. That's my plan.
Okay. I think Kitsune asked a few questions, but I'm pretty sure you already covered that. Kitsune, if you'd think I'm wrong, will you just tag me and maybe tell me which one you want me to ask? But for the time being, we'll go to Ms. What is your number one tip to grow a portfolio from 4 to 5 figures to 6 figures, except taking profits?
Plan and structure. I mean, some of the people, I covered that already, but some of the people, get lucky and, you buy something and it went up in a bull market and you made crazy profit and they think that they know it all. And we've seen that with some of the, there's hundreds of alpha groups and alpha discords in the bull market because that was very easy to be an alpha guru and everything was going up. So you bought something at the launch, you usually had early access or whitelist spots and you went up because everything is going up. You're such a genius. I mean, in trading in the bear market is very different. As we can see, you don't see these alpha groups and these geniuses anymore. Because it's not so easy and you have to look at, a lot of different factors. But my number one tip will be, you have a strict risk management, work your percentages. My suggestion, I've posted already. Have a trading journal. So go over, write down, look like a diary. Some people love their diaries and posting how they feel, how was the day and so on. I think is a great thing to do with the trading. Why did I sell? Why I panic? Why I feel, it's not sure about my investment? Why I bought it too high? Why I bought it too low? And you will notice over time, your answers, you repeatedly, usually doing the same mistakes. and you want to circle that up and work on it. Because so many times, for example, people, don't buy when it's early call because it looks red and they panic and they look on, the dollars going down on when they tracking the portfolio. And then they sell for a loss. We saw it over and over again. And then, a couple of weeks later, things are, 400 or 500% up. And that's when they buy. That's one of the most common things I see on the charts. And if you don't track it, and if you don't write your thoughts, and if you don't criteria how you can get better and improve and so on, you'll just end up tumbling huge amount of money later on, regardless if it's bear market or bull market. So my number one is to have a strict risk management, work out your percentages, and have a trading journal, write your thoughts, and work on your mistakes.
Okay. So we have 1 second here. Okay, we have a question from Tinder Master about ledger and long-term bags. How often do you move your bags into a hard wallet, and how do you decide how much on each coin you buy and store?
Yeah, I think there are similar questions from Hot Ice Cube as well about taking the profits, moving them to consultative bank and ledger and so on. I covered that before with the example I was using on Danny, that let's say you started your trading account in August with, 3 Ethereum, and by the end of August it's 13 Ethereum. I'm withdrawing 10. I want to start September on a ground zero. So if that's my daily trading account and went up from 3 to 13 Ethereum, I am not starting September with 13 Ethereum. I'm starting that with 3. And that's 10 I'm withdrawing. And that's going to go either to, stable coins, Ethereum for my long-term investments to buy into some gems. And some of that I'll take to the bank. I don't have exact specific that in that particular time I'll take 20% to the bank and 30% to gems and so on. Depends on the profit, depends on the situation, depends how much I withdraw on that particular month. So I don't have specific on it. I have a specific way of handling that if I made X amount of profits, I want to start the next trading month from zero, rather than using my profits for trading. And then you're trading completely differently. And people doing that all the time that, let's say if they started leverage trading with $100, get to $500, and then they leverage trading with $500, and your risk is so much different. Why wouldn't you just withdraw $400 and show yourself that you can over and over again repeatedly get from 100 to 500, if that makes sense? So that's how I'm taking profits. I'm making sure that every week, every couple of weeks, I'm taking something out from my bank account. One of the things I'm the most proud of, that when I started trading, went out after all of these mistakes I've made. In November, I told you about that, I wrote it down, and it did in November 22 and 21, and decided to get back to trading in December. So December 21, I didn't add a single dollar to my Web3 wallet. Not a single dollar. From December 21, I only withdraw from my Binance and, MetaMask and so on. I never deposit any money from my bank account since then. So it's going to be 2 years in a few months that I didn't deposit a single dollar. I started that with, couple K, and since then, I'm fully Web3, and I never deposit a single dollar just because I'm doing what I'm doing and I have a strict rules about it.
That's pretty impressive for me anyway. Okay, we have a question from Shirley. How exactly would you go about selecting coins for your portfolio? I see there are so many in the portfolio channel that it's hard to decide. Would you choose 5 to 6 from the first tier since they have the highest conviction? Would you first go through them all and then decide? Would you select from each group to diversify your holdings?
Great question. So, very much depending on the money you want to invest. I would like to have, as I said, that's the reason I created groups for percentages. that 60% will be in a group 1, 30% group 2, and 10% group 3. I mean, if you don't want to, let's go into a more risky one, just keep the group 3 and focus on group 1 and 2. So obviously the group 1 is the highest conviction, group 2 a little bit less, and group 3 is the most risky trades, but it's still with, very high potential if they do well. So, ideally, it's to have some from each group, but yeah, I'll definitely buy more from group 1, a little bit less from group 2, and, 1 or 2 coins from group 3, or none at all if you don't have enough, budget to stay between 3 groups. But yeah, that's how I'll diversify. And you cannot pick every coin. I think in combined gems, we have, 25 coins at the moment. I'll have to count. I'm not going to hold 25 coins, just to make it very clear. So I'm going for the things that, I got a good entry, the most conviction. I would love to have every single coin I have conviction. I have unlimited money, but I don't. And I have to be strict about the budget, to follow my rules and follow my risk management. So if your portfolio is small, let's say $1,000 or less, I'll stick with 5 coins or less, because I don't think it's a point to invest. You have $1,000 and buy 20 coins for $100. I mean, it's $2,000 and you buy 20 coins for $100. That makes no sense. So I'd rather buy more of things I'm convinced about, and I like them and I'm comfortable in holding. If you want to create due diligence, is to do research in a particular point. So not only what I posted, but read about it, see who follows that. You can put in a search on Twitter, see who posts about it, who liked it, what's the engagement on it, what's the roadmap, do you like it, do you think that's something you can, you feel comfortable holding, and that's how you decide. You cannot answer for every coin and every person. I mean, some of the people, for example, I have a friend who's Muslim, and as much as he loves Rollbit, he just didn't put a single dollar in Rollbit, but he bought way more upper for it because he doesn't want to be in anything with gambling. That's how he believes. And even though he was very confident Rollbit will go up, and he loved the idea, when we talked about it, he just didn't buy a single coin. I mean, everyone has a different beliefs and how they want to, what they feel comfortable holding. But yeah, that would be my answer.
Okay. Well, I think the other questions that Shirley asked you already covered. So our last question that I see right now is from Jarda K, and it's about taxes. I just know that our Corgi lawyers told us not to give any information on taxes. But if there's anything you want to say on that, Coral, I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, I think we're really not allowed to talk about that. Yeah. Sorry. Does anybody want to come up on stage? Anybody want to talk or ask a question? Just let us know.
I guess we did. Like it. Nobody's requesting. I think it's long to digest. Okay. Ankroma, do you have any final thoughts? I guess I've done my part.
Sure. This is, to be honest, I am in this group even before it got a closed paid group. And this is what I want to emphasize as well. The team here is actually helping us with every knowledge they have to make it profit instead of using us as exit liquidity. And not only that, there is a saying that goes like, if you want to feed a fisherman, give him some fish to eat. But if you want to help the fisherman feed his family, teach him to fish. So besides following blindly the calls from Corgi, it is very important for all of us here to get better every day by the knowledge that is being passed here every day. For this, I would like to give a shout out to the whole team. That was really nice. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hey guys, I'm not gonna make it long. Just wanted to say thanks. You answered all the questions. You know I like to talk a lot, and I write very long questions and very long rants. Jago, I overanalyze and overthink everything.
Yeah.
But it was a very good AMA. Answered pretty much all of my questions. So just wanted to say thanks. I wanted to say that I'm really glad to be a part of this group. Even the bickering, even the arguing, it's still all part of a learning process. It's awesome. You're all awesome. Keep up the good work. That's it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And if we can keep you happy, I think we can keep everyone else happy as well.
Yeah, I'm a tough nut, huh?
Yeah,
I know.
But we all do, so it's okay. We happy to have you.
Likewise.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you
that's
all
a
for
wrap.
everything.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.